All right, what's up, college baseball fans? Welcome to another episode of the 11.7 podcast, weekend number 4 recap episode. The layout of today's episode is we're going to release the new mid-major top 25. We will also talk about some of the bigger upsets this weekend, players that stood out, the same old Sunday night recap episode. We do have our Patreon/Discord. We're doing a Q&A. So if you're not in our Discord or Patreon, maybe once a month, twice a month, we will do Q&A from our fans and followers, because I think that always stems up new topics and new discussions for us to have. And Dimitri and myself have not seen a single one of them. Noah has them all laid out, so we will do that towards the end of the episode. We will also be building a top 10 from scratch. No preseason bias, strictly on the field results, eyeball test, and that kind of fun stuff. So should be a really fun episode here. Where do you guys want to start with the mid-major top 25? I don't know. You guys both are looking down on your phones.
Whatever you want to start with. How's everybody doing?
Noah, you good with the mid-major top 25 first?
Yeah, I'm good with the mid-major top 25 first. I'm doing well, Dimitri. It was a fantastic weekend for sports, and it was a perfect sports weekend to supplement a college baseball schedule that was not fruitful, but it sure did give us some talking topics that a lot of people want to know about. So, yeah, I'm excited. Let's jump into the mid-major top 25.
Yeah, like Noah alluded to, it wasn't the must be by your TV at all moments college baseball weekend, but that's fine. Like, we are good getting that out of the way on weekend number 4. There is always one weekend that seems to be misplaced, a lot of variance. You'll see bad teams beating good teams, which is fun, but there was not like a huge, oh my God, did you see that moment? Anyways, let's move here. Transition to the mid-major top 25. Just released on Twitter about 15, 20 minutes ago. We'll quickly go through this. There are 5 new teams that jump in, which means 5 teams left from last week. We'll discuss and talk about that. Southern Miss, Santa Barbara, UTSA, 1, 2, 3. That's going to be a hard 1, 2, 3 to like shake out. Even if one of those teams has a rough weekend, I can't see any of them dropping past 5, because those 3 teams have stood out every single week of the season so far. Southern Miss at number 1, Santa Barbara at number 2, UTSA at number 3. All took care of business this week. Number 4, Coastal Carolina is back at number 4, and they were impressive. Very, I don't know, I wouldn't say like hostile environment, but it was like a high intense crowd this weekend at Coastal with a lot of expectations. Coastal and Rex Watson, Rex Watson, right?
Yeah,
Rex Watson, San Diego transfer.
San Diego transfer, walk-off grand slam, and that at bat was impressive. It was lefty on lefty, bases loaded, 2 outs, gets down to an 0-2 count, fouls off, I think 3 pitches in a row, and then goes oppo for a walk-off grand slam against East Carolina. Saturday's game was probably way more fun to watch. It was a pitcher's duel, 1-1 going into the 8th, maybe the 9th. No, it was the 8th, and Coastal broke away there with a 7-1 lead or 7-1 win. And then number 5, South Florida, 13-3 on the year. Mitch Hanna, he just does it. He just wins. And South Florida, it's going to be interesting when South Florida and UTSA play, because I think they both play similar styles of baseball. And I don't know when they're playing on the schedule yet. Someone look that up while I'm talking. See when UTSA and South Florida play, because
I believe they play, and I believe it's at UTSA.
Okay.
South Florida was on the road, and when we looked at it in the preseason, they were on the road for every big series. It is April 10th through the 12th at San Antonio.
Those are 2 teams that have passed the eyeball test, both South Florida and UTSA. 6 through 10, Kent State at number 6, Missouri State at number 7, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns at number 8. UC Irvine falls down to number 9 after a opening weekend of conference play series loss. And then Cal Poly at 10, they just went on the road and swept Hawaii. Cal Poly's record 8-7, but 4 of those losses were to undefeated USC. So it is what it is. Charlotte at 11, Mercer 12, Louisiana Tech 13, Dallas Baptist 14, Liberty Flames 15. Anybody have any talking points there on those 5 teams?
I think Cal Poly is a good team. I think they just ran into the buzzsaw of USC. Like, if you respond with the 4-game sweep of USC to go on the road to Hawaii and sweep them, I think that justified and nullified any of the negative possible ramifications of getting swept in 4 games. It's hard to win in Hawaii, so good for Cal Poly.
Yeah. For me, it's Dallas Baptist, and this is the second quality series that they've lost and just haven't looked great. Specifically, I think more of my worry right now is on the bump. Just kind of lacking a little bit of an identity. Starting pitching has not been great. And yeah, I think DBU getting swept by UTSA, losing that series to Louisiana there hasn't been a great non-con for DBU that we're used to seeing.
This might be the lowest Dallas Baptist has ever been ranked in our mid-major top 25. I'm being serious. Like, since we started doing it, this might be the lowest. But, I mean, am I worried?
We knew this was coming. We knew this was coming preseason, that this was gonna be their worst team they've had in the last couple of years. So
that was kind of indicated in the write-up in the nicest way possible. That is how we put it.
Yeah, but guys, it really doesn't matter. Like, I still think they're going to be an at-large team. I think the RPI will be just fine. If they can just get in the tournament, like, that's the same thing they have been doing. It's not like they've been hosting regionals. They've been a 3 seed or a 2 seed every single year. So it's like, if they can just get in the tournament, they'll be in the same position as they usually are.
That means they have to win the Conference USA tournament auto bid.
Why do you say that?
They have their resume is bad right now. They have 0 quality win from like a series standpoint, not individual game.
They're 1-6
in their midweeks. They've lost.
I wouldn't rule them out of an at-large yet. What are we doing here? Still got a lot of season left.
Dude, is the Conference USA gonna bump? Are they gonna hold them up enough? Like, I mean, what makes you think if Dallas Baptist lost series to UTSA and Louisiana, what makes you think they're gonna beat Liberty and Missouri State and whoever else?
Louisiana Tech is also gonna be like in that at-large potential.
Louisiana,
Liberty.
I don't know about that either.
A lot of faith in that league. There's been years where the floor has fallen out on.
Well, how many? Wait, timeout, guys. How many? We have 4. Yeah, we have 4 Conference USA teams ranked in the top 18 mid-major. Let's slow down a little bit.
And then
that doesn't mean their RPIs are all going to be good enough for Dallas Baptist.
How about the other half of the league that they step on the field for 3 times against the bottom half there, and the RPI is going to sink?
Ben, you got to remember, you can't lose 2 out-of-conference series that you really need to help your RPI when you're in a non-Power 4 conference.
That's fair. I don't know. I just think it's still too early to tell. Like, Dallas Baptist could win 21 of their next 25 and be fine.
Fine is a stretch, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like your point stands, but I mean,
you guys are going to make me pull up Dallas.
You're relying on the Conference USA that has Middle Tennessee 224 RPI, Sam Houston 164 RPI, WKU 155, Delaware 136, right, New Mexico State 191, and FIU 265. Like, anytime you'd step on the field against those guys,
RPI means nothing right now.
Your metrics are taking a little bit of a hit.
RPI means nothing right now.
Yeah, but this is the time where those mid-majors build it up, because when they step on the field against,
you've got to be in the top 50 this time of the year.
I would say top 100 going into conference play, but yeah, it's not good. Not good.
All right, well, let's move on from Dallas Baptist. Sorry, we went down a little spiral there.
Hey, that's what we do, and it's going to happen a couple of times on this episode, you know.
Yep. Liberty comes in at number 15. Liberty beat High Point in the midweek and then swept Harvard. So pretty impressive there. They jump up a spot. Texas State comes in at 16. They were unranked. Probably, I mean, obviously it's our fault for not having them ranked last week, but they continue to shine. 12-3, really impressive weekend there. Winning 3 out of 4 against Washington State. Number 17, San Diego, under 500 this year. San Diego was one of the teams that we thought about dropping lower, but then we remembered that San Diego went on the road opening weekend, got a big non-conference series win. I forget who it was against, maybe Campbell or somebody. Charlotte, that's right. And then this week they lose all 4 to Cal, which I do want to talk about Cal later in the show, but Cal is the most underrated team in the country. 13-3. Cal has, oh man, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but they just swept somebody the week before too. That was good. They've won 11 straight against not cupcakes. So Cal and the ACC, keep an eye out for.
They beat Irvine last weekend, if that's what you were talking about.
That's right, Irvine.
It's the longest win streak for
They
Cal
did not win
like
11 straight. How have they won 11 straight? They lost 1 game to Irvine, didn't they?
That was I saw their team account tweet it. I don't think Ben's making anything up. It's their longest win streak since the 90s.
Wait.
Cal lost opening day to Santa Clara, and then they ended up winning 2 out of 3 there. They split 2-2. They lose Friday night to Irvine, then win the next 2. And then they beat UC Davis. They swept Sacramento State, who just took 2 out of 3 from LSU. Beat Bakersfield, and then swept San Diego in a 4-game series. So they have series wins against UC Irvine, Sacramento State, and San Diego.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good for Cal.
The Pac-12 ghost, it's got to be smiling right now.
They really do. Where did I leave off? Oh, Jacksonville State comes in. They were unranked. But again, they probably should have been ranked last week. They're 13-3. They lose a close one to Alabama in the midweek, and then they sweep Valpo this weekend. But 13-3, they do have some quality wins this year. They're at number 18. Number 19 is East Carolina. And they hung in with Coastal both Friday and Saturday. Probably could have won both of those games if they catch a couple breaks. But 8-7-1 for the Pirates. I'm not nervous or worried about them. Like, they're going to be just fine. They've played an awesome out-of-conference schedule. 20, South Alabama. 21, High Point, who just took 2 out of 3 in Gainesville against Florida. Very impressive. They were unranked last week, but now at number 21. UAB, number 22. They're 10-6 on the year. Swept Middle Tennessee State. Number 23, Cal Baptist, 14-3 on the year. They were unranked, but they did go on the road and sweep BYU this weekend. So the Lancers, always good to see them here. I think this is the second time they've been in our mid-major top 25. I remember they were in it in like maybe 2022 or 2023. Arkansas State bumps up to 24. They're 12-5. They had 2 big midweek wins against Louisiana Tech, and then they lost 2 out of 3 to Oral Roberts this weekend. And then our last unranked team that bumps in is Florida Gulf Coast, 12-4 on the year. Gulf Coast beat Bethune-Cookman 2 out of 3 this weekend. But 12-4 with a series win against Boston College, ACC team. We got to show them some love there. The teams that dropped out were Xavier, who's 5-10 now. I know they've played the hardest strength of schedule in the country, but you got to start winning a little bit more games. They can easily earn their way back in. Hawaii, Troy, Lamar, they're all out. And then who was the other team? Murray State gets swept against UCF. They also fall out. All right. Any thoughts on the mid-major top 25?
I got thoughts. I was probably the lowest of us, our group that work on the mid-major power rankings each week. I was probably the lowest on Texas State preseason, and then like throughout the last couple of weeks, just let them prove something to us. Let them play somebody, and then let them keep building up a resume there. And it just got to the point where they were doing some stuff that was louder than some other teams that I think garnered a little bit of reward. And the offenses, I think, performed pretty well. The pitching staff has been what's impressed me, and their starting rotation. All three of the guys are below 3.75 ERA, limited in runs, really well. The Bobcats, big test this week in the midweek against Texas, though.
Yeah. The teams that we also considered, Wright State, their last 7, they have beat Kent State 2 out of 3 against Campbell, and then they almost won 2 out of 3 this weekend against Tennessee, but they did win today in a shutout. So Wright State, UNLV, UNCW, those were 3 other teams we considered. And then teams like Xavier, Murray State, Hawaii, Troy, Lamar, they're on the outside looking in, but they can earn their way back in pretty quickly.
Yep. I think another thing good to note is that you'll probably noticing how is Texas State 16 going from unranked all the way that high. It's like we're like trying to get them in, but let's just say the 21 through 25 don't have bad weeks. It's hard to jump a team in when there isn't any deserving team that need to fall out. So it's kind of one spots to open up. And this week we had a bunch, and they just kind of skyrocket in there. So it's kind of like you can't punish a team and kick them out if they didn't do anything to get kicked out. So that's kind of how that happened.
Yeah, Texas State was the product of a unfortunate preseason poll, right? Like if Texas State started in the preseason mid-major top 25 at like 21, they would probably be higher.
They'd be around this range.
Well, they would probably be like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like probably around like the 13 to 16 range.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a theme of the episode. We'll hit on it a little bit more later, I think, right? So
Yep. 100%. All right, let's dive into like the juicy stuff now. We kind of claim this like a weekend that if you needed to go do yard work or not sit on your couch all day and watch every single game or watch the World Baseball Classic or whatever, like you probably could do it. There wasn't a ton of marquee matchups. There was more interest, I think, in a handful of teams and like how they would do, which our weekend series pick'em was 6 of the series that I was interested in. But other than that, like it was more of a weekend of like, whoa, surprises, whoa, shocked. And a lot of it stemmed from like SEC and ACC teams that slipped up at least once, some of them twice, and didn't look the part that everybody was expecting. So I want to start down in Gainesville. High Point is no joke. High Point is a team that has made the NCAA tournament, has done damage in the NCAA tournament, and like them in Upstate have conquered the Big South. It was a Joey Hammond and Derek Orndorff and those guys, they've built a very sustainable and solid mid-major baseball program that has produced Power 4 guys. They've produced draft guys. They look like the better team in Gainesville. This was no fluke. They look like the better team 26 innings out of the 27. They had a bad bottom of the 9th where Florida comes back and scores 4 runs to win it. And it was all because of walks and hit by pitches. Is that
no walk, just 5 straight walk. 5 out of the 7 batters were walks or something. Brutal.
Yeah, but like you know what I'm saying, right? Like they looked like the better team. So I don't know if we want to weigh more on High Point being a I don't want to call them a super regional contender yet, but is High Point that good or is Florida that vulnerable? Because in my opinion, Florida hasn't been vulnerable much at all this year.
I think what it is this is the biggest. We kind of hinted at it last episode on Thursday before the weekend. This is the biggest look-ahead trap weekend in the SEC. I mean, guys are getting ready for SEC play. You got your big dog coming up next weekend, and no more tournaments. You're just at home playing a mid-major team getting ready for SEC play. That's what it looks like. You're getting your stars aligned. You're getting your rotation lined up. You're getting everything ready to go. And you get punched in the mouth, and you get shell-shocked by some of these mid-major teams who can show up on any given day and beat you. We saw it all around the SEC this weekend. So I think to answer your question, I think it's a combo of both. I think Florida didn't show up ready to play, and High Point shows up in a Power 4 school on the road. They want to beat your ass. So I think it's a combo of both.
Yeah, and like the same story. Go ahead, Noah. I want to give you some time to talk.
No, all good. I'm distracted too. We just had a ticket punched in college basketball for the NCAA tournament, but I think the storyline. I don't know if this is where the conversation was at. I got lost a little bit, but my two biggest takeaways here on the weekend of High Point, Florida. High Point starting pitching outperformed Florida's starting pitching, and game one. Wade Walton gave him 7 innings of 2 earned run ball. Liam Peterson gave him 5 of 2 earned run ball. In game 2, Ty Bratchbill, I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I was watching this game without volume. I had like 8 screens going this weekend. He went 6.2, 2-run ball. Aiden King, 3 innings, 5 runs. The issue, none of them were earned. And that gets me to the Florida point this weekend. They were booting and kicking the ball around all over the place defensively, specifically in game 2 and game 3. I don't even know if all the errors or the miscues or the mental screw-ups were even recorded, but they've got 5 errors in the final 2 games of the series. That's just not going to fly in any series. When you keep giving teams free outs to extend rallies and innings, those are going to come back to bite you. We saw it actually. I'm going to bring up World Baseball Classic because that's what I was absolutely locked into this weekend with Great Britain and USA. Great Britain has USA down, 1-0 in the 4th inning or whatever it was. One error opened up the entire floodgates in that inning, and it turned into a batting all the way around through the order, and there were 7 runs in the inning. Like, it happens. Good ball players will make you pay, and I think High Point's got a very solid team, and they've been willing to invest in athletics the last couple of years. Like, that's a talented team over there.
Yeah,
I think tuition is funding that athletics department. High Point's like very expensive to attend. It is a country
have some
club
good donors
campus.
too. They have some good donors.
Yeah,
Jack and I got to meet with that staff back in 2024, and their vision for the program was just a little bit different than like the typical coach speak. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not, but they had a very good vision of like how they wanted to build this program, and literally ever since then they've been successful. So, I'll say all that. I'll ask Coach Hammond what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not later on. But similar thing happened in Baton Rouge as Florida, where Sacramento State comes in. What were they? 3-10 on the year, or
something like that.
They played a tough schedule, but it was a team that LSU absolutely needed to rebound against after losing Monday and Wednesday to Northeastern and Louisiana. And Jake Brown goes out, hits 3 homers. LSU is clicking on all cylinders. They run roll him in 7 innings. And LSU fans took a sigh of relief, and they were like, okay, we're back. 1 bad midweek, 2 bad games, we're fine. Sacramento State went in the next 2 days and looked like the better team. If you switch jerseys on those 2 teams, you'd be like, oh, this makes sense. Am I worried about LSU? No, because they have talent. Is this the same LSU team? Is this the same LSU team in 25 and 23? No, this is probably more of a 2024 LSU team who was still a 2 seed and made some noise in a regional. But right now they have way too many question marks.
I think I think they are very similar to the 2025 team. The only thing that doesn't set them apart right now is they don't have a 1-2 punch in the starting rotation that's emerged. Cooper Moore's been great, but outside of that, like, there hasn't been too much there that has blown me away to where every Friday night, every Saturday night, like they had last year, those 2 guys were going out there and giving them, a quality start. But I think the lineup's very similar, and offenses go cold. And Sacramento State was a hungry team. They're 5-10 on the year, guys. They got swept by UC Irvine. They got swept by Cal. I think it just says a whole lot more about those guys coming in hungry to the box, getting some W's and close games in game 2 and game 3. Because I think LSU just could not get a big hit in game 3. And I think it was similar in game 2, actually. But yeah, anything else
LSU
there?
had a shot in game 2. They had a shot late, but yeah, I mean, I would be worried. You don't have your Cade Anderson, you don't have your Anthony Ironson to get your weekend started off every weekend. You don't have your Paul Skeen from the 2024 team or 2023 team, whichever it was. So I mean, for LSU, you just don't have starting pitching, and your offense is not deep enough to pick up that pitching lack of talent or ceiling, whatever you want to call it. So I think they're going to be around the 500 team in the SEC. They'll get a 2C somewhere. And if they improve a lot on the mound, they could host. But I mean, worried is kind of stupid because they're the defending national champs. You're not going to be unbelievable every year. It's hard to do that.
Yeah. There's a couple more SEC teams I want to briefly touch on that struggled this weekend.
Well, we have a broader topic in the Q&A if you just want to wait till that. But
okay, well, I trust you. We'll wait.
Okay, because there's one other. Actually, never mind. You go ahead. I probably should have stopped you before we touched on LSU and Florida, because those are the two of the teams that we.
We'll just rip the question then. What was the question? We'll just dive into this one.
No. Sorry. Go ahead on the SEC. Say what you wanted to say.
The hell are we doing?
I was just saying that like Tennessee, I think has a lot of question marks. I know Wright State's a really good team, but like is anybody else catching like 2025 Texas A&M from this Tennessee team? Remember how A&M started the season last year and it was not pretty?
And so that's literally one of the questions. So
okay.
So this is from Matt, Florida State man. He says, is LSU destined for 2025 Texas A&M hell, or will this be forgotten by mid-April?
LSU or Tennessee?
I think it goes for both of them.
Like, it's more Tennessee.
That
first year head coach that was an assistant coach comes in, first 15 games are not great.
But LSU also was in the national championship game, which Texas A&M was the year prior. So I think it applies to possibly both in that thought process.
Okay. Yeah, I just see it fit more of Tennessee. Like LSU, I'll trust probably the best active coach in college baseball in Jay Johnson to figure it out and turn it around. We don't really know much. Like same thing with like last year with Coach Early, who has seemed to turn things around at Texas A&M after one season. Like Coach Elander is probably not sleeping great at night right now, knowing that a lot of their wins are coming in an ugly fashion and not being able to take care of teams like Kent State and Wright State, like the Tony Vitello teams would dominate. That's probably why I think they're more comparable.
Yeah. I know I'm all over the place and that's my fault, but I went and looked up the stats too on LSU games 2 and game 3, because they just didn't get the big hit. So with runners in scoring position in game 2, they went 1 for 12. With runners on base, they went 1 for 18. They lost that game 5-4. And then with Sacramento State, with runners in scoring position, 1 for 8. With runners on base, 3 for 16. That's not going to win you games. But they had runners on in both games. They had opportunities. They just didn't capitalize. That, to me, is a recipe of a team that is just in a little bit of a slump at the plate. It's still early March, guys. Like, I think that's something that is going to be like, we get to May, they're a 1 seed, they're hosting a regional. We'll be like, you remember when they lost that series to Sacramento State? That's what I think what's going on there.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the only difference is they just don't have the pitching to cover up the holes that they might have right now. And so that's why people are freaking out, because the holes are getting exposed. When you have really good pitching, it gets covered up. But on the Tennessee side of things, they can argue all they want. Oh, they got a series win. It's like, yeah, of course, sure you did. That's the goal. That's always the goal. Just win 2 out of 3 every weekend. But it's not a dominant series win and a series loss to Kent State. So I think Elander's going to have to learn how to get that clubhouse riled up, fired up, and ready and focused and ready to go. Week in and week out. Good week, bad week, doesn't matter. You got to turn the page and focus on your next opponent. So he'll learn. It might take him a year. It might take one rough year before he gets things going. We will find out. But yeah, I don't think you can sit here and say Rice State is a good series win. That's a team that got swept by Charlotte 2 weeks ago. That's a team that won a game in Athens, which is another talking point that they have, which is great. But at the end of the day, this isn't a dominant Rice State team. They usually get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, to further emphasize your point there, I know it's not an SEC team, but Troy went 14-1 winning weekends last year in the regular season, and they got left out of the NCAA tournament. So the selection committee has shown you that, hey, winning a series, winning a weekend doesn't actually do a whole lot for your resume.
Yeah. I mean, especially as a mid-major, yeah, but SEC team, they'll get the benefit.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like, not to like pile on the SEC in general, because like they're still the best baseball conference out there, but
that honestly, coming into the weekend, it wasn't supposed to be the biggest talking topic, but it is. They did not look pretty.
It's hard to avoid when, like, dude, a lot of teams slipped up. That maybe I'm wrong, but in the past, it doesn't feel like we see this many SEC teams slipping up pre-conference.
See,
now they all have great
we're
records.
Just really good podcasters, because that was the number one question that was common in the Q&A. And two people mentioned, is it NIL combined with roster limits, meaning teams can't hoard that talent? It's being spread around throughout the entire country, and teams are more competitive. And I think the answer is yes. And I think that's where you're kind of going, is like it has gotten a little bit more competitive, right, Ben?
Yeah, I actually have a very strong opinion on like why it feels like the landscape of college baseball is more competitive this year versus some other years. You have to remember, like, the turnover in the SEC programs is way more than it is at the lower programs, because not only are they like getting guys drafted and signed, like they could get drafted after their redshirt sophomore year, the junior year, the redshirt junior year, the senior year, like the turnover is a lot.
Doesn't even get to campus.
Yeah, or they get drafted out of high school now and they don't go. But what I've noticed on a lot of the competitive mid-major teams is a handful of 5th and 6th year guys, 4th, 5th, 6th year guys, and a lot of them are like transfers from really good Division II schools or really good NAIA, really good Division III, and these players are like stepping up and playing well because they're 22, 23 years old, and like early in the year it kind of gives them an advantage. So I think the transfer portal, what gets forgotten about it is there's like high level guys playing D2, D3 baseball that are now playing Division I baseball as a 22-year-old, and like they're stepping in and throwing innings or hitting 280 with 4 homers through the first 4 weekends. And like that never happened before NIL. It was rare to see a Division III guy jump up to D1 his last year. But like now it's there, and it's so, and like that style of the ACC or SEC for the most part, they're going to go to the OVC or they're going to go to the SoCon. And like, that's where I think the playing field really gets evened out is some of the non-Division I guys that were all Americans at a D2. Now they're playing at the Division I level. And it's really not that much of a difference.
With baseball, you see it like the ability to translate from being a D3 star or a D2 contributor or a JUCO like stalwart and regular. It's an easier transition in the sport of baseball. If you've got the hit tool, if you've got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, that plays, man. It plays in the MLB if you just drop them in there for a 1-inning stint. Like I'm bringing it up, but we're seeing these guys in the World Baseball Classic that, haven't made the trajectory and the journey throughout the minor leagues and kind of built up the stamina, also like the mental fortitude of this is a 162 game season. We just saw a minor leaguer strike out. What was it? Judge, like 3 MLB All-Stars in 1 inning. Like, and it happens all the time in the WBC.
Yeah.
And I think that translation is visible every single year in college baseball. D3 guys coming in D1 and shoving,
Yep. 100% agree.
Real quick, before we move on, I do want to have one last little SEC segment because I'm looking at the standings here and it's weird to see LSU and Vanderbilt as the two worst records in the SEC. LSU's 12-5, Vanderbilt 10-7. Those are both teams that nationally were recognized for being top 5 teams in the country. But for you guys, doesn't it feel like almost every team besides Texas and Mississippi State, I don't think has slipped up because their 2 losses were to competitive teams. But Vanderbilt has definitely slipped up. They lost a game today to North Dakota State. That's not a loss that Coach Corbin usually has. LSU, we just talked about them. South Carolina, everybody knows they're struggling. But Arkansas loses their 4th game of the season, and 3 of them are to mid-majors. UT Arlington, Stetson, and Arkansas State. All 3 of those losses have come in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Georgia has lost 3 games to mid-major teams with Western Carolina, Troy, and Wright State. Auburn has lost twice, but I think only once to a mid-major, right? They lost to Cincinnati and Nebraska. Okay, never mind. No mid-major there. Alabama
they were
14-3
with 1 or 2 against Youngstown State the opening weekend.
So it feels like these teams are more vulnerable to slip up.
Yep.
Versus years in the past. You know who really hasn't slipped up is Missouri lost opening weekend to Mount St. Mary's, and then they lost a midweek at FAU.
They've been flirting with disaster, though.
They've been flirting with the disaster, but they have played some pretty bad teams along the way. So maybe, never mind.
Garrett Jackson knows what he's doing when he's scheduled.
Yeah,
he's learned.
So, anyways,
so that was one of the questions as well. I'll take what you just said and twist it into: is this the year that the SEC gets dethroned? And then he highlighted as one of the top title contenders outside of the SEC, in UCLA possibly being the front runner. And I think that goes to the SEC's looked very vulnerable in non-conference play. Yes, they're winning a lot of these games, but they haven't looked sharp. Is it something that we can see these teams improving? Because I think that's where I lean on. We were talking about all these new pieces, how they lose, half their roster to the MLB, the bottom half of the roster transfers out to a mid-major, and then they add a bunch of freshmen or new players. And it's okay, get your feet under you, build some confidence in the SEC because you're going to get some big wins. You're going to build a resume. Are they going to emerge as national title contenders throughout the year? Or is this the year that they get dethroned?
I mean, well, here's a better question, Noah. Do you trust the top 2 in the Big Ten or the top 2 in the SEC more?
Who are the top 2 in the SEC?
Texas and Mississippi State.
I think Texas and Mississippi State would be my 2. Versus UCLA and USC.
And Oregon?
No, Oregon.
No.
What do you mean, no?
They lost the game to Purdue.
You're going to put Oregon ahead of USC?
I didn't say that, but I'm just saying Oregon could be up there in the argument. At the
top 2 Big Ten, top 2 SEC.
Okay. Then
I think even the top 2 in the Big Ten's a stretch too. But USC's pitching is legit. I would say I'd still go top 2 in the SEC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't – the SEC will always be so deep that so many teams can be bad, but there's still going to be top 2 or 3 teams will be top 2 or 3 teams in the country. So I think that's I think people can gang about the SEC because it's the fun fad, cool thing to do is gang up on the SEC because they win everything. You get tired of watching them win. You want to hate watch and you want to see them lose. The same thing with Tom Brady and the Patriots. The same thing with the Yankees with Derek Jeter. When they're in the Dodgers now. When the teams win so much, you get tired of watching them win. You want to see somebody else win. So people root against the SEC, and their fan bases are obnoxious and they're loud, and they cry like babies when they lose. It's just the reality of it. So, the question is a fair question, but the SEC will always be dominant, and I would be very rarely bet against them on winning the national championship.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
mentioned
piggyback off
negative.
that. Wait, let's piggyback off that, Noah.
Well, yeah. He mentioned negative qualities of the SEC fan bases. Positive ones are they're passionate, they're large.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I think that's obvious. I don't
and they
need it. I
show
don't
up,
need to list
you
them
know.
out.
So
I don't need to list the positives of that.
Yeah.
So piggybacking off your point, Dimitri, because I think you make a pretty good point. If preseason polls were not a thing, how would you rank the top 10 right now? No preseason bias, just, hey, this is like after weekend number 4, we are releasing the first top 20 or the first top 10 of the season.
I think we can agree on UCLA number 1.
Yeah, UCLA would be number 1.
Texas number 2.
Texas, the Mississippi State.
Texas number 2.
Southern Miss 4.
So I have 8 teams that I'm comfortable saying eyeball test and results based, and then we can figure out the other 2. This is in no order.
All right, so let's do this.
This is no order. Let's just name our 10 teams first, and then we can rank it 1 through 10.
Yeah.
I have UCLA, Texas, USC, Southern.
Dimitri, pull up a doc and write down some of these teams.
No, it's fine. We can do it right here. No, don't worry about it.
It's not that hard.
Say it.
UCLA, Texas, USC, Southern Miss, UTSA, Santa Barbara, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech. That's 8. Who are 2 other teams?
I'll throw Clemson into the mix.
Okay.
They're 15-1. Their pitching staffs looked good.
I don't hate that, but it's
Clemson should be in there. Georgia Tech definitely.
Is Cincinnati?
UTSA,
so I have Cincinnati written down. 14-3, and like every weekend is not against a cupcake.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I think eyeball test.
Going there.
You look at the talent level.
I think Cincinnati's been the most impressive Big 12 team this year.
So far, I would agree.
Yeah, I think so. And then, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I mean, Arizona State, I think, is better than Cincinnati, but based on just eyeball test and wins and losses, Cincinnati's right there, but Arizona State should be right next to them if we're going to talk just Big 12. But, okay, what we've got? We've got UCLA, Texas, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Santa Barbara, USC,
Virginia, maybe?
UTSA.
And
then I threw Clemson in there.
Clemson, that's 8.
Virginia looked good this weekend. I would say, like, eyeball test. It was like they hadn't played anybody until this weekend, but this weekend was impressive and loud. They're probably in the mix. I don't know if they're top 10.
What about
I don't think it's a good idea for us to sit here and rank them now because I think we're all going to be indifferent on a few of them.
It's just a exercise. I was like, if we pull up a doc, like we would see the teams that we've mentioned and we would maybe be able to come to the conclusion. But I just think we're naming.
We're forgetting a team. Like Ole Miss has been pretty impressive this year. They have a series sweep against Missouri State, who is really good.
Their biggest weekend, they had a losing weekend.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dang.
I would throw. So Wake Forest had one big blunder opening day against Houston. They've been a perfect 15-0 afterwards.
And they have some good arms, really good arms. Yep. Wake Forest could be, I mean
it's tough, right? Like without preseason polls, it is really tough to rank right now.
I wouldn't say that.
Like how far? So like here's an example, not to throw D1 under the bus, but how far is D1 going to drop LSU after going 1-4 this week?
And how high are they going to move USC up?
They didn't have USC ranked last week.
That's right. So how high are they going to put them in?
That's like the questions because preseason polls dictate everything. It's kind of crazy.
For the first 2 months, it impacts everything. And for even longer, if you don't allow teams to move where they belong, like USC should be top 15 minimum on tomorrow morning.
I think you can take it a step further and put them top 10 tomorrow. From unranked
That's why I said at minimum. That's why I said at minimum.
There aren't
top
10
15.
better resumes than USC right now.
No. So yeah, it's a very good exercise, but we are definitely not going to agree on a top 10, which is good.
So, anything else we want to talk about before we get to these questions?
Nope. I think we covered most of it.
There was so we haven't talked about anything really outside of the SEC, and USC, they swept Illinois this weekend. The pitching was dominant, of course. We kind of mentioned them scatteredly throughout the show so far. We just mentioned them a little bit with Ben, but like Virginia, man, they showed up, and I'm willing to put a whole lot more respect on their name. I wanted to see them against an opponent. Like the first 3 weekends, I thought they played a bunch of tomato cans, but like
bunch of
on
what?
the road in Chapel Hill against
Wait, hold on. A bunch of what?
tomato cans.
I've never heard of that in my life.
That's a saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tomato
I use it a little
can?
bit. Yeah,
It's a saying.
yeah. You just
Interesting. Never heard of that.
You crumple up a can, throw it in the recycling bin.
I've never. All right, I believe you. I've never heard of that though.
So yeah, Virginia's just been slaughtering teams until this weekend. They hit the road in North Carolina, and game 1 dominant. They shell DeCaro. Game 2 dominant. They shell Ryan Lynch. Game 3 they knock out.
They didn't shell DeCaro. He only had 2 earned runs. They made a bunch of mistakes.
Okay, so they put up a bunch of runs early in the game to knock him out of the game. So maybe the shelling verb was incorrect, but then they got him out early. They got Ryan Lynch
which
out
is
of the
hard
game
enough.
early.
It's hard enough to do that alone.
Yeah, and then they built up a massive lead in game 3 too. They put up a fight. They took it to the 12th inning. Like the offense is legit. That for sure they've proved to me this weekend. Zatkowski finally had a solid start for them. That was a plus for the Cavs. But I think the narrative or the storyline for North Carolina is this is year 2 for Forbes and North Carolina in a row where they've laid a dud at home to begin ACC conference play.
Yeah.
I think last year they got swept at home to Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford started. I think Stanford started 6-0 or 5-1 in ACC play, and then finished like 5-22 or whatever.
Yeah. So I just think it's very similar to that for North Carolina. I'm not pressing the panic button. It's a weird anomaly that both seasons, the last 2 seasons, they've started like that. But hey, you were 1 game away from Omaha last year. I'm not pressing the panic button here, but it was something that I wanted to mention.
What a win-win. Like, positively speaking, what a win-win for both Virginia and Mississippi State. And I think both teams will be happy with their new head coaches. Mississippi State gets their guy in Brian O'Connor, who has absolutely turned that program into like a powerhouse again. Not just a bunch of gritty guys that have cool stories coming from Mississippi. Like, no, this is like a nationwide program now. And then Virginia gets it, like, honestly, like probably one of the most highly sought after coaches in Chris Pollard, who just stayed at Duke for a long time. But there was plenty of programs interested in Chris Pollard the last decade. And he gets to call Charlottesville home, and he's built a freaking great team over there in year 1. So
and
what a win-win
there. And to add on to your point, he wants to call Charlottesville his home. That's like he called it his dream job. So
yeah. I mean, if
shame on Duke for not, like, if Duke would have just invested 1% into baseball, they would have had Coach Pollard there for life. They just wouldn't.
If you can win at Duke, I think you can win anywhere.
Yeah, they're an inning away from Omaha, and they were in super regionals multiple years with opportunities.
And they still have a dog shit baseball stadium. Their field is good. Their field is great. I like their field. I just think it's the most pathetic grandstand, whatever you want to call it, stadium is awful.
It needs a lot of work to be an ACC caliber.
No. What do you mean a lot of work? They need to build an actual stadium. It needs to be rebuilt into an actual stadium.
In the defense of Duke, their basketball gym looks like any old campus building. So like,
But I think
that's
that's
the way they
tradition.
view it, and they're
I think that's
like,
but no, stop. That's not fair because Duke Cameron Indoor is like Fenway Park of college baseball. You don't destroy it, you don't replace it. Duke's baseball stadium has zero tradition, zero history, and it looks like a high school baseball field.
I'll give a point to Dimitri there. 1 point for Dimitri. That was good.
I know what Dimitri's saying, but at the same time, if you're the school and saying, hey, the basketball team has done this with this, let's see it happen with baseball before they invest. And
That's
it was
like
a coach that had been on the market a little bit and said, hey, if we get you to sign the extension that you're here for long term, we'll invest. And they started to. Like they were doing renovations with the field.
Yeah, but they're pathetic renovation. That's like saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put some wall banners to say how many super regionals we've been to. We put 500. We're investing in our program." No, that's also like the Chicago Bears spending $3 billion on a stadium while Wrigley Field's still there. You think the Cubs are mad? No, it's a tradition thing.
The renovations that
I'm not letting you win this one.
The renovations that I was aware of actually were to the grandstand. Like they added like larger press box seating because that was one reason why they weren't able to host the 1 year.
Where?
At Jack Coombe.
At Duke? At Jack Coombe?
Yeah.
Please go pull up a picture and look at what they added. It's pretty pathetic. And I don't know why we're spending time talking about it.
I know what you're talking about, but that was the renovation that they recently did.
And you're defending it. You're sitting here trying to defend it.
Oh, I'm playing devil's
advocate. Come on, stop. You know exactly what you're doing.
I know it's a podcast. Like we got to have a discussion, you know. I'm building.
There's plenty of discussion. This is not one of them.
It was one that you wanted to bring up about the field or whatever. You could win at that dog shit field or whatever you said. I forget what you said.
Yeah, because I thought we would all agree.
The field has nothing to do about winning. Like
that's
Duke,
what I'm saying.
Duke has like the high academic standards. And it's hard to get transfers in there. Like he was battling more on the like education side.
Virginia's still got those too.
I was about to say I'm going to add a point to that. Coach Pollard allows for that to happen. Like you don't you only win there because of Coach Pollard. But any average head coach at a program is going to struggle to win with those kind of facilities in this day and age of college baseball.
I feel like that's a good way to punctuate it, I guess.
Well, there's still a lot to see. There's still a lot to see.
How did Duke do this weekend? That was a team that swept.
Duke came back to win the series, which was impressive. They were down in the 9th against Notre Dame on Saturday. Notre Dame was literally about to take the series. Duke came back and then won Sunday to take the series. Good series for them and Corey Muscara, first ACC series win.
They put up 3 runs in the 9th on Saturday too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the ACC, Ben, we talked about it last week.
Duke lost the series.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Notre Dame, wait, Notre Dame, what was the score of the game today?
2-0 game 3. You were explaining to me game 2.
No, I know that. Notre Dame won game 1.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That means Warren Nolan had the score flipped for a little while because I remember Duke was up 2-0.
Gotcha.
Interesting. I just saw it wrong. But speaking of ACC, Ben, last week we talked about, you asked me what my floor and ceiling is for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Ceiling just dropped to a 3 seed, last 4 in, and my floor is missing the tournament.
See, you talk about the SEC fan bases because they overreact and stuff, and then you do the same thing on the pod with Miami.
How is that an overreaction? I told you the Florida series every year, it's the measuring stick of how good this team is going to be. It's just the reality of it. We get to Gainesville, Florida weekend. I'll tell you how good we are, and we're not good enough. We don't have a bullpen.
You do not have a bullpen. That is fact.
I didn't catch any of this series. It was against Boston College, and
they lost it.
They blew every game.
He's not lying.
Did they get
No,
swept?
we won one on Saturday.
They went 1-2 and they're both playing.
They almost blew the Saturday. They blew it Friday night in the ninth. They almost tried to blow it again on Saturday. Miami won. Then they blew it today, and Boston College won.
He's not lying.
Oh, that's funny.
The same thing with Florida.
I think
series.
the ceiling is still higher than a 3 seed, though. Like that's you overreacting a little bit.
Well, okay, maybe a number.
I think
literally
the ceiling
30 through 32.
I think the ceiling is a 9 through 16 host.
We are not hosting. Stop it.
The 80% outcome this is probably like a top 25 seed, but the 100% top 100% outcome, like remember last year, didn't Siskar and Darius come out of nowhere in week 5?
I
Like,
remember
who's that freshman in the bullpen?
I remember, but we also. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't see it right now, and they have given me no faith to be optimistic on that end. Do I think Miami can win games? Sure, but you got to remember, a bullpen is so massive when you can't hold a lead after 6 innings.
It's important.
So, any other big ACC thing we're forgetting?
No, I don't have
ACC
anything
talk
written down.
topics.
Georgia Tech absolutely throttled Virginia Tech this weekend.
Well, Virginia Tech was up
BT
like
stole
5-2.
game 3.
Yeah, Virginia Tech won game 3, and like they could have won game 2. They were up 5-2 in like the 7th, and then Georgia Tech put up like 3 runs in the 7th, and then like 11 in the 8th. Like they just hit like 8 homers in a row.
Yeah,
you know that viral video that comes around. It's like the 2001 NL All-Star team, and they show like everybody's stat. Like I'm walking the plate, and it's like, you know, Craig Biggio 381, 11 homers, 25 stolen bases, like, and it just goes 1 through 9. Georgia Tech. I was watching the Saturday game because I was interested in Virginia Tech plus 5.5, and Georgia Tech's offense step into the order was like, you know, Drew Burris 481.
It is so silly.
Alex Gonzalez 570. Like everybody in that lineup is hitting 450 plus. It's stupid.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? They're two of like maybe 3 games on the season they just scored double-digit runs with Georgia State in the midweek. So I know Virginia Tech was a good test on their offense, but I'm a little concerned because the 2 quality staff they faced, they weren't putting up 8 runs, which is obviously unrealistic over a 56 game season. But I'm really curious to see Georgia Tech, how they hit and how they perform as they get into the meat of the ACC schedule.
Yeah. I think that's it for me on like what I was off the top of my head thinking of ACC wise this weekend.
Do we want to recap the weekend series pick'em quickly?
Yeah, why not?
Those were really the only 6 series that like I paid attention to this weekend.
Yeah.
So Louisiana goes into Dallas Baptist. They win game 1. Hard fought battle. Both teams looked fine. Like they both looked good. Saturday, Dallas Baptist had like a 6-4 lead in the 5th or 6th inning, and then there was a 30-minute rain delay. They come out of the rain delay. Dallas Baptist, I think, hits or walks 7 or 8 batters in that 6th inning, and it turned into an absolute blowout. Sunday, today, Dallas Baptist rebounds and wins. Like it was a pretty stress-free win there. But I think the story is Louisiana went on the road after a big midweek win. So like Louisiana is celebrating this LSU win. Turn around, go play Dallas Baptist on Friday, a day later, 2 days later, and win. And then they win again on Saturday away from the Teague. And that was like my one question mark was, how is this team going to play away from home? And yeah, I mean, they won the series. They're one of the hottest teams in the country and also like one of the youngest teams in the country. They play a lot of underclassmen. So, and they're doing it without their best pitcher who's out for the year, Chase
Morgan.
They have not said out for the year, I don't believe. They said indefinitely. Like, I still think there's a chance they get him back. It's a back injury. It's not an arm injury. So
okay, that's good.
Yeah. But the pitching's been super strong.
Yeah. I mean, dude, everybody they throw out there is 94 miles an hour with a run. Like, I don't get it. Kids these days are so much better than what I faced in college. I was talking to my friend James about this, who actually helped start 11.7 back in 2019. I was like, dude, do you remember getting like handwritten scouting reports? And it was like the Friday guy was 87 to 89, 3-pitch mix, locates well. And then it's like Saturday guy's 85 to 87. And then like 2-pitch mix, like can locate a slider. And then Sunday it was like, he can only locate his fastball. And it's 86 miles an hour. Like, go hit it. Now you got guys rolling out like 94 miles an hour on Sunday. It's like, what the heck are we doing here, dude? Everybody's bigger, faster, stronger.
Yep.
Did you see? So they were on the previously undefeated graphics. New Mexico lost the weekend series this weekend.
New Mexico
lost 5 straight.
They got 5 straight. Yeah, 5 straight. New Mexico, they got swept by Tarleton. They were up 14-3, I think, in the 7th inning, about to run rule Tarleton, and Tarleton scored 11 runs and ended up winning the game. And then Tarleton swept him. What were the other? Oh, what happened in the Rice Abilene Christian series?
Sweep.
Rice swept him. Coach Pierce all the way back.
Statement.
I mean, I don't know if Abilene is the measuring stick on whether they're back or not, but it's a great step. Rice doesn't sweep that series in years past.
Good for them. Good for them.
Shit. Sweep. They don't win this series in years past.
Yeah.
I did watch Bethune walk off Florida Gulf Coast today, but they lost the series, correct? Florida Gulf Coast won Friday and Saturday pretty handily.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Bethune's best reliever was not available. He was pitching for the Netherlands today. So that's pretty cool, but I don't know if they would have won that series with him.
But you know what's interesting, Ben? He hasn't pitched that much, so I wonder what his role will be going forward when he gets back.
Yeah, he was more of a swing reliever for him early on, but he was great last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, you want to jump into the Q&A?
Let's move into the Q&A.
Yeah, we'll go Q&A, and then we'll pick our 6 weekend series pick'ems for this next week, and then we'll do midweek preview.
Yep. All right. So
wait, we're not picking on air. That takes too long and it's too dragged out.
All right, fair enough. You're right. It is almost midnight here.
Let's get this Q&A done.
All right, so I'm pulling it up because he gave a list. We're going to Coastal Carolina fan 24. And I'm going to take this question a step further. So after 4 weeks, which preseason top 10 team is most likely to miss the postseason? Now, I think the answer, there's actually, never mind. I'm going to stick it to the question. I was going to say, let's re-rank them. Like 10 down to 1.
No, just read what the question said. What did the question say?
I just did. After 4 weeks, which preseason top 10 team is most likely to miss the postseason? Which one's going to miss the NCAA tournament? So the candidates of the top 10, Coastal Carolina, Arkansas, Louisville, TCU. I think the other ones are safe. Coastal, Arkansas, Louisville, TCU.
I'd say Louisville.
I think I would have to go Louisville. TCU losing Lepore is huge, but I think TCU will be fine in the Big 12. I think I got to go Louisville.
Did I miss any developing news on Lepore, like with TCU?
He's out for the year. He was out for the year.
So I missed that.
I mean, it came out that week for the year.
No, it did not.
No.
If anything, I actually heard that he had a chance to come back. I think it was this weekend.
Lepore? Why was it? Wait, the reaction was he was done.
Well, it was arm, so it's never a safe thing.
I don't know. I thought I was under the impression he was done for the year.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway,
my answer is Louisville because I think Louisville could get buried in the ACC and like finish in 9th through 11th place and be a bubble team. I still think TCU, even worst case scenario, Lepore's out. Like TCU is going to be a top 4 Big 12 team. in my opinion.
I think so too.
Like Coastal should be fine. The Sun Belt is a lot better than what it was last year. So
they drew the easiest schedule.
That helps it out a little bit. Now, like I don't think
at the same time it doesn't boost their RPI or anything as much as it would if they had a tough one.
Yeah, but they kind of have that. The selection committee, if Coastal's on the bubble, they're going to get in just because of like what they've done in the postseason in recent history, which is something they consider.
Right now, they're 92nd in RPI. And sorry, I didn't give you a charity laugh.
Coastal
that was a good joke. Something they consider.
Yeah,
that's a joke, man. Previous postseason success. I think that was TCU. What was it?
TCU in 2019. TCU 2019. I'll never forget.
So dumb.
I have it where on Coastal's number 2 in the RPI. What am I looking at?
I don't know. They're 92.
Warren Nolan has them at number 2. I'm not kidding. Look, I'm about to share my screen.
Oh.
No, Southern Miss 1, USC 2, Clemson 3.
I'm sharing my screen right now. What does that say?
It says,
I don't know what that is because that's just wrong.
So look down. I'm on the same page. Scroll down a little bit. RPI 92.
92.
They're lying to me. Warren Nolan's
That's
lying.
just wrong.
Yeah, at the top it's incorrect.
All right. That's fair. All right, what's the next question here?
The next question comes from so I think Louisville's the answer for all three of us. Just pitching hasn't looked as good. Zion Rose not healthy.
Yeah, Michigan State hasn't won a baseball game since opening weekend.
Yeah, that too. I shouldn't laugh. That's not a fun fact, but it is a fact. So from Quinn Kaufman, could the Sun Belt have 5 tournament teams?
Yes.
No.
Yes, they can.
Can we talk through it?
Yeah.
So then the Sun Belt is not getting 5 teams. Stop it. Coastal, Southern Miss, and a third. That's it.
No, dude. No. Relax. You said Coastal and Southern Miss and a third? We still have Texas State, Louisiana Lafayette, Arkansas State, Coastal.
That's fine. That's fine. They all will not be high enough RPI when it comes set and done. They're not getting 5 teams in the Sun Belt. You're out of your damn mind.
All right. Well, let's play this out. Southern Miss, Coastal, Louisiana. Those 3, I think, are comfortably in right now, correct?
Comfortably in, I don't know, maybe.
Let's say a Texas State or a Troy or Arkansas State finishes top 4. One of those 3, I think, will finish top 4, right? Bubble team, and then somebody else wins the tournament. Boom, there could be a 5th.
He's not wrong there. Like that maths to me. Southern Miss.
No, because here's why. Okay, let's say Southern Miss is hosting, right? Then let's say Coastal is a 2-seed fringe host or something.
Well, I think Coastal's got work to do. Louisiana's currently in.
Okay, but I'm just using a scenario here, and then Louisiana is a top 30 RPI, whatever.
3.
But I don't see Arkansas State, Texas State keeping their RPI high enough. I mean, if they win the tournament, then it's possible that 4 teams get in, but 3 at-large teams right now.
The question was, is it possible? And yes, it's possible.
5 is not possible.
I think 5 is possible. I think most likely it ends up being 3.
3
because Coastal Carolina still
imagine think about last year. There was 2 teams that made it and they were both hosting. How stupid is that?
It's so
no
dumb.
2 seeds, no 3 seeds.
That's my number 1 argument against.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, well,
all right.
I mean, Georgia Southern, no. Troy, no. James Madison, no. Louis. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. 3, 4 is possible if Louisiana, Coastal, and Southern Miss do not slip up at all, and then a random team punches their ticket in the tournament.
Hey, you know what could make 4 possible 5 is midweeks, because midweeks matter. If these Sunbelt teams keep taking care of business on the midweek, it's possible.
Midweeks matter.
It is
25% of your season.
It is possible.
Next question.
Next question. What is the likelihood or possibility of UC Santa Barbara getting a top 8 seed, and how would they need to get there? Father Whale 823.
Top 8 would be tough.
They got to win 50 games.
Top 8 would be tough because they didn't win that Southern Miss series.
12-2 currently, 4th in RPI. And let's see, their big series in the Big West. Where are they located? So they
need to win.
Host
they need
Hawaii.
to win the Oregon series.
Yeah, host Oregon. That's a must win. Like, gotta take 2 of 3. Hawaii, unfortunately, doesn't boost them too much. That's going to be a quad 3. At Cal Poly, big series. Gotta win
Irvine,
that
at UCLA.
Oh no! Wait! I don't know why you're going through it. They cannot lose a single series all year if they won top 8.
Well, they already lost a series.
Well, the rest of the way.
Look, I don't think Cal Poly, or no, not Cal Poly. I don't think Santa Barbara has a path to top 8 unless they win 50 games, like you said to me, like 50-6 on the year. They could do it. But what I'm looking forward to is there could be 3 regional hosts in the Los Angeles County area with UCLA,
Santa Barbara,
USC,
not
and
even
Santa
close.
Barbara.
Santa Barbara is not even close to LA.
86 miles. I looked it up before the show. 86 miles away from LA.
So yeah, I was like, is Dimitri just thinking of it because it's traffic, or is it like the actual...
Imagine 3 regional hosts within 90 miles of each other there.
That'd be so cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It's no different than the Carolinas having 4 hosts 2 years ago or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Definitely doable. I'll answer probably not. Like, most likely not a top 8. But regional host for sure. Absolutely. You win the Big West, don't drop a series the whole year, like, you'll host.
How likely of a top 8? I would probably put it at 5% outcome. Like, you would need to run
5% or less.
I think less. If they would have won that Southern Miss series, then, like, yes, definitely doable. But to be a national seed, you got to remember there's going to be 4 SEC teams in that top 8 picture. There's going to be 2 ACC teams in that top 8 picture. So you're fighting for 2 spots, and one of them is probably going to be Southern Miss.
Dude, how about the month of April for these guys? First off, last weekend of March is they are hosting Oregon. Then the next weekend at Cal Poly. Then they host UC San Diego. They're 4-10. The RPI is 55 because they've played legit competition so far. At UCLA, they played the Tony Gwynn Legacy Invitational, which was quality competition. At Louisiana, at Cincy. Like, they haven't won any of these games, but they've been competitive in a lot of them, except for the final 3 in Cincinnati. So I'll take that back. I wasn't locked in on that series, but RPI is good with UCSD right now, and then they're at UC Irvine the following weekend. That's a gauntlet. This 4-weekend stretch. With
UCLA and USC, those midweeks, that is a gauntlet.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That's 4 straight, 4 of 5 midweeks, 2 against USC straight, and then UCLA Baptist and UCLA again.
They got to win 50 games. They won top 8, but I guess the path is there. Maybe
do projected. Wait, no, do us a favor. Go to the projected win-loss for Santa Barbara there. Let's just see what Warren Nolan has him projected.
28th in RPI, 40-14. Projected to lose the series to Oregon, lose the series at Cal Poly, take 2 of 3 at home against UCSD. They're projecting him sweep Irvine, dude. Okay. And then
I've always wondered how Warren Nolan projection thing works.
It's random. Like, if you do it again. So
it's just totally random.
Yeah, if I hit predicted results again,
I don't think it's random.
It spits them out. Oh, maybe not.
No, I don't think
maybe it's the predicted score on the scores, because I've tinkered with it before.
All right, next question.
Next question is, I'm scanning through actually questions that we've already hit on a little bit. Texas Tech is currently top 10 in WRC Plus through weekend 4. Do you all think that the lineup will stay consistent through Big 12 play? My answer is yes to that fragment, but he adds on, will it be enough to supplement a lackluster pitching staff? And the fact that he's asking the question, and he's calling it the pitching staff a little lackluster, to me, I think he answered the question. Like, I think they're going to hit very well. The pitching coming into the year was the question mark. Going into the conference play, it's still a question mark. What are your guys' thoughts on the Red Raiders and Tim Tadlock's bunch right now?
I know they put up 1 billion runs this weekend against Penn State, and they swept, I'm pretty sure. I've only watched Texas Tech play 2 games, maybe 2.5 games this year. One, they put up like 100 runs against Rio Grande Valley on a Monday or a Tuesday, week 1. It's like a midweek against UTRGV, and they put up 1 million runs. And then I saw him get smoked by Oklahoma. I saw him get smoked by Vanderbilt. And like that's all I have. Like I know they've played really bad teams other than that. So I have no opinion on Texas Tech yet, except they can score 1 billion runs.
Yeah. I think Texas Tech's going to be the typical year. They're going to get blown
Tech
out.
Host UTSA Tuesday and Wednesday in the midweek this week.
Yeah, I think they're gonna score a lot of runs, give up a lot of runs, and win and lose a bunch of shootouts. That's pretty much my outlook on them.
Yeah, that question came in from I didn't put his name down in my notes. I'll get you the name and give him a shout out.
I'll promise this. If Texas Tech wins 1 against UTSA, I will pay attention to them next week when they play at Kansas.
That question came in from Swaggy P. The next one comes from Mid Beeves Tweets. What is the March Madness equivalent of winning a super regional and going to Omaha? So, to me, it's very simple. I wonder if you guys disagree. Getting to a super regional, there's 16 teams left. So that's the second weekend, the Sweet 16 in college basketball. Getting to Omaha, there's 8 teams left. That's the Elite 8. However, I'd probably consider it the Final Four.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree with that?
Final Four is Omaha.
Yeah, because it's like the next weekend, right? Like you're advancing 1 more week, whereas like the Elite 8's 2 days later.
I agree. So.
Plus, everybody before the season's like, oh, we have a Final Four caliber team, or like we have an Omaha caliber team. Like they get compared side by side. But and if you think about it, Omaha is just two brackets of Final Fours, right?
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
Last one. Yeah, this one's a little bit of a fun
like you're
one.
Getting invited to the Final Four. Like you made it to the final stage. So yeah, almost definitely Final Four.
Yeah. This one's a bit of a fun one to wrap it up, and it comes from Attack Eagle.
That's Dimitri's best friend.
So he said, my son, and in parentheses, second kid, I already have a 2-year-old daughter. So his son will be born May 31st. If hypothetically the
congratulations. Wait, first of all, it's congratulations, Attack Eagle.
Yeah, like congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So if hypothetically the Eagles make it to that place in Nebraska in mid to late June, can you all write a letter to my wife on the importance of me attending this event and how my son will grow up to hate me if I skip Omaha just because he was 2 to 3 weeks old? Like, what kind of dad would I be if I stayed home?
I love how he framed that his son would hate him if he didn't go. So he's got to go.
So, like,
and we'll write a letter.
This is the as a father and as another expecting father in August. I see the position he's in, and I think it's completely okay to go to Omaha after having a kid 2 weeks before.
I mean, what's the kid at 2 to 3 weeks doing? Breastfeeding, crying, screaming. He doesn't know where he is. He can go to Omaha
probably have
as long as his wife has.
You probably have to like call in a few favors, whether it's your in-laws, like, you know, mother-in-law staying at the house, or your parents or your brother or sister. Like, your wife's going to need some help because like there's 2 kids. But if I was in his position, I would take my 2-year-old daughter to Omaha with me and just have father-daughter time away from the house. The wife wants to be left alone after giving birth and like bond with the child. and like have somebody there in the house with her, like her mom or her dad or sister, brother. That's the way I would do it. And I think it's completely okay. 2 weeks later, no problem. Day of is tough. Day after is tough. But 2 weeks later, you're on paternity leave. You don't have to work. Like, go up to Omaha for a few days.
And it's a twice in a lifetime opportunity because they've only got one Omaha appearance. You've got 2 kids, so it matches.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm speaking from absolute no fatherhood experience, and Ben is.
Yeah.
But that wraps up the Q&A. I thought it was very good. We answered quite a bit of them just in conversation throughout. Like we had it was Brand Devil. I think that's how he pronounces it because they're 2 words that aren't finished, but it was like what's going on with the SEC as a whole. We hit on that. Reese Benson asked about Florida. Matt Florida State Man asked about LSU. And yeah, there was a couple other ones that we answered throughout. So it was good stuff, and we'll revisit that whenever we need a topic or 2. So
guys, the midweek is loaded again. Hold on. Watch this.
So thank you to the Discord for helping us out this week on some talking topics. But yeah, midweek. Let's expect
look
some
at
more
these
chaos.
midweeks, guys. Wake Forest at Coastal, must watch. Xavier, Oregon, you should watch that. Florida State at Florida, Ole Miss at Southern Miss, Kansas, TCU. Don't know why that's a midweek. I don't get that. That is weird. I don't think that's true. Yeah, it is true because Kansas is playing at Texas Tech next weekend, so that's weird. But UAB Auburn, really good one. Texas at Texas State. This game always has fireworks. UC Irvine, UCLA. Like, that's just the ranked matchups. There's other games too.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Oh, South Carolina goes to Citadel. That's always fun for the Charleston faithful.
Yeah, Missouri State SEMO is pretty good in state rivalry. I don't know. You sure you don't want to pick the 6 weekend series pick'ems?
No, dude, it takes too long.
Troy, Alabama.
Yeah, we're already 120 in. We can end it. And then
Time to wrap it up.
UTRGV, Louisiana.
No, UTRGV has been. I'm kind of disappointed with them right now. It's early, but a little disappointed.
UTSA at Texas Tech. We already talked about, but that's a big series. Indiana State. Indiana State always beats Vanderbilt.
Mississippi State, Tulane.
You say that, but they don't always do that. Yeah.
Arizona State, Arizona.
There you go.
Let's just take a peek, Dimitri. Let's just take a peek at this weekend.
Nope. I will be logging off. We are not picking series right now.
Let's just take a peek.
I will be logging off.
Oh, there's some good ones.
Yep. And they will find out when it's on the board.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up the show here. We appreciate everybody for listening and following along. We'll be back Wednesday night. We'll try not to do any more Thursday recordings. Just last Wednesday was tough. And we'll recap the weekend, preview the weekend series pick'em. We appreciate everybody that's playing in the weekend series pick'em. Noah, what are you going to say?
We have Jack for Wednesday, so you want to do the repicking of the conferences?
Yes. Yeah, Jack has spread himself so thin, guys. Like, he is still a part of the 11.7 family. He still likes to do the podcast, but he has done exactly what Dimitri and myself wanted him to do back when he joined in January of 2024 with us, is like use 11.7 as a stepping stone to get where you need to be. Highly talented, like you're going to be the face of college baseball if you're not already. And it's just he's got a ton of great opportunities right now. Like, he was just on the broadcast for 3 games at Coastal Carolina. Like, how cool is that?
Series of the weekend.
Biggest series of the weekend. Like, this coming up weekend, he'll be in Charlotte doing a Charlotte series. Like, he's traveling a bunch. He's working full time for 643. He also does work for D1 baseball. He's doing broadcast. He has his own podcast with Chris Lemonis. Like, Jack is crushing it, and we want him to crush it. He's been great for us. So he has used 11.7 to get to higher places, which is awesome.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, but he confirmed Wednesday this week. Like, he wanted to do a Club Omaha Wednesday, which I'm not opposed to, potentially. So we'll get him on the show. We'll repick our conference champs and go from there. So
thank you for everybody for listening. Please subscribe, check out all our stuff, and see you guys later this week.
Rock on. See ya.